The NBA All-Star Weekend for 2026 is officially over, and I'm going to be recapping the full season as far as we've gotten here, while also breaking down this new style, new format. I actually enjoyed the new format just because the players were really out there trying to win. And we'll get into that as we go. Some amazing basketball in the background as we break down the full season of 2025 to 2026 basketball. I got to say, before we do all that, I think the NBA is at a great place. For me, as somebody who's watched since the late 80s, I've always loved the 90s as my favorite all time. But we got some young guys like Victor and Anthony Edwards who, really love the game, and they're really hardcore when it comes to the passion. And so I absolutely love that. And being an old head, you might think I won't say that, but that is absolutely true. Okay, we're going to kind of run through some of the off-season stuff that happened, and we're going to take it further as we go from there. You have Kevin Durant going to the Rockets, changing the game there big time. And then you have Cooper Flagg getting drafted by Dallas Mavericks, which was kind of insane. Even Trey Young getting moved over to Washington, and then Kristaps Porzingis coming over to Atlanta and then ending up in the Warriors, which I think is going to be a crazy thing in the near future. And those were the biggest changes that I would say that came about. And then we want to get into the early season, for example, Detroit coming in strong. And I'm actually loving Detroit, and they just got some dogs, and it's been a fun time to kind of see Cade become a superstar. So he's slowly getting there. And I think, 2 more years, he'll be the superstar that we feel like he is, and his team could be very dangerous. Unfortunately, it's in the East, which is, I'm a Knicks fan, if you guys didn't know. But yeah, pretty crazy stuff. And I absolutely love it, in my opinion. And then you got Oklahoma, aka OKC, the Kings of the Kings. They won last year. They are the best of the best, and they're still dogs. And they have an amazing run as a year of winning already. Their confidence is high, so they're going to be a major threat. But I do love Victor Wembanyama. He's actually helping this Spurs team become the biggest threat, like out of everybody in the West. They're scary good, so super interesting. And then of course my New York Knicks won against the Spurs, which was absolutely insane for the championship, if you want to call it that. The in-season tournament, NBA Cup is what we're going to call it, and that was incredible. And so I love it. And by the way, I want to pause some of this recap and talk about this game here. Kawhi Leonard being who he always was, right? Kawhi is one of my favorite players of all time, just because he's a two-way. Defensively, he's insane. Offensively, he's amazing. And it's just rare that you get both. A lot of times it's like, oh, he's all great scorer or he's a great defender. But with Kawhi, he's like literally elite on both sides. And I just love it. He was going off in this game. He had a 30-point game. And I just thought, wow, like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. And I was in disbelief. To be honest, a little personal, I'm massaging my mother's feet all the time, once a day, if I can, take care of her. I come visit her. And I'm massaging her feet and I'm screaming at the TV, Kawhi. And it was stupid. She's like, what happened? And she knows basketball, but not as good as I do. But it was pretty wild to see him do what he did. And then you got Fox right here, which he won this game specifically. But man, it was special. So I want y'all to pay attention to these games. They were spectacular, really great players. Everybody's putting in work. I like the format. I won't say that I wasn't mad because I love the East and the West thing, but hey, it felt good and pretty exciting. And yeah, it was a wild time, let's just say. And then we get into all of the very cool overall finale of this thing. And I want to kind of just mention the All-Star weekend. Yeah, the dunk contest, I really wasn't feeling it, so I'm not even going to talk about it. 3-point contest, Dame always winning. Top dog. Unfair. They shouldn't put him in there. But with all that being said, we had a spectacular time, and I want to talk about this game here. You got Durant, possibly for the last time, with LeBron and Curry and Kawhi. All these guys are probably going to retire, you know, and whether it's one or two of them at a time in the next 2 or 3 years, they're not going to be around. This is a young man's game, and we got them playing, and it was really going in, and it was a spectacular time overall. And what's cool is you got these young kids winning big and taking over. All right. I love that. And then Anthony Edwards gets the MVP. And here's what I got to say. I think this is spectacular. I think that in the end of the day, you want to see the stars shine. You want to see the young players take over. If you're an old head, I'm sorry, man. Your guys retired. You know, my favorite players are retired, all of them. And now I got new kids coming up, earning those stripes, literally. So that's great. And shout out to the NBA for changing the format, kind of making me wonder, like, can this work? I'm curious what you guys thought about it, how you actually felt. Okay. And I want to kind of rewind some of this and kind of go through some personal feelings about all this. There's a young kid out there like me when I was like 10, 11, watching an all-star game on TV, just sitting there in my living room all alone too. I was just watching it. And I remember, like, who's this guy? What is his name? Oh man, he's really good at that. You know, and like just inspired and wanting to go play basketball and try the moves that I saw, or those crazy shots like in someone's face, or nice pass. And all of those things are things that are happening every day. And the NBA has provided that for millions of people and inspired millions. And so we just got to be grateful for that. And we got to be excited for the future of the NBA and hope that they continue to develop it. The end of the season, I'm not going to do it in this video, my predictions or anything, but I would love to see some of these old guys still get a chance in the playoffs. And you know, they don't have to make it to the finals and win it, but if they made a run and they're in the Western Eastern Conference Finals somehow, the inspiration that we'll get as somebody like me, you know, over 40, you sitting there, wow, this is the best. And so that's where my mindset is, rooting for these older guys, whether it's Kevin Durant's team or Curry's team, you know, whatever the case may be. It would be fun and interesting to see. So that's my thoughts. Share your thoughts about the NBA season. I'm really loving the young kids coming in, cooking. All right, y'all take care, man. We're gonna have more NBA coverage throughout the year. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe. See you later. Peace.